Hello and welcome to another video in our series on constructive development theory. My name is Dr. Darren Stevens and I work here at the Institute for Adult Development. In this video we're going to take a look at the MBTI and how it compares across the board to the awareness quotient and constructive development theory and the identity compass. So what's it really showing us? The central premises of the MBTI theory include people belong to a true personality type, the type causes different types of behaviours, and that type is determined at birth. For the MBTI theory to be correct, each of these claims needs to be supported. However, each has several validity issues. And it's been around for such a long time that the MBTI has reached such a status that it's part of our lexicon for management speak, even in cartoons. So according to experts like Adam Grant at the University of Pennsylvania, the problem is how is the MBTI wrong? And he cites logic as the main issue. He's not the only one, obviously, there's lots of research on this. In the social sciences, we use these four standards. Please pause the video here to have a read of them. So let's take a look at the specific criticisms of the MBTI and how they are easily countered with CDT and the identity compass. Well, firstly, lack of scientific validity. From a CDT perspective, it's not so much that participants would get different results over time, it's that we can measure the results to demonstrate how and why the results are different. And with the obvious answer is that people change. So with the identity compass, the changes are explicit. When looking at ocean or traits, it's not so easy to determine why someone has changed, as they're a little vague. So from a validity perspective, why would we care if the identity compass and CDT do not conform to existing personality measures when we are blazing a trail for a brand new measure? I had over 8,000 profiles supporting my hypotheses in my PhD. We now have around 20,000 profiles supporting it. The binary nature of the test. Now, the binary nature comes from the ideas of Jung, and I can see why there would be an issue. If you were only given the option of A over B, within CDT rather, when someone is either internal or external, they have the capacity to choose between 0 and 100% for either, which offers a grid of like 20 by 20, using 5% increments. Now, if you think about that, if internal is 100, and external could be 0, 5, 10, 15, right? And then obviously internal could be 95, 0, 5, 10. Right, that's a really, really big grid, 20 by 20 by 20. It's a really big grid. Beyond my thinking right now, it's a million times more robust than the measures that we have within the MBTI, or pretty much any other system in that sense. And then we combine internal and external with the same principles for the other 48 cognitive intentions. The permutations are astronomical. So if we take the same idea from the previous slide, using cognitive intention combinations, we can indeed predict the behavioral outcome of a combination. You cannot predict someone's behavior based on their INTJ score, as the MBTI score is beyond ambiguity. It's essentially the Barnum effect in action. And this is not the case with the identity compass and CDT, as a combination of the 50 cognitive intentions creates your unique thinking style. And this offers a nuanced, predictive quality of your current and future behavior. If you favour self over others, this is measurable and predictable. Now, I have exercises that I offer to not just master students, but C-suite as well. And the outcomes are always the same. Human beings think in roughly the same ways, regardless of their context. Okay, so the results are based on just 2 cognitive intentions. Imagine all 50. So we at the IAD are focused on the research behind the claims, and there are about 5 more PhD candidates doing their research using CDT as a foundation, and we're very happy to promote our workshops and frameworks to organisations because they can check the validity for themselves. And it's not that the decision to use the MBTI, for example, in overuse in organisational settings, it's not that it's misguided. It's that the MBTI doesn't tell you what you need it to tell you in order to base a decision on someone's employment within your company. However, at the Institute for Adult Development, one of our founding members, Timo from Finland, is a recruitment consultant, and he uses the identity compass for recruiting purposes every day. Why? Because of the predictive nature of the combinations of cognitive intentions. And with the added bonus of the thinking quotient and the awareness quotient scores, he can now map clients to their complexity and the role complexity. And now you're not going to find this capacity and capability in any other psychometric. Now, reductionism. The MBTI reduces complex personalities to 16 types, leading to an oversimplification. you can see the problem. The identity compass, supported by CDT and the awareness quotient, does the very opposite of this. It exposes the complex personality nuances, and even though I don't think personality exists, see our other videos on this, how you combine your cognitive intention combinations from a position of intention, awareness, choice and response is a measure of your complexity. The MBTI cannot do this. It does not do this. On this slide, we see what the MBTI is incapable of teasing out and what the identity compass can actually measure. Following the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis that suggests language constructs culture, when one individual considers themselves to be bicultural and they speak 2 languages fluently, the identity compass can measure each culture in that one person. How cool is that? So with CDT, we are measuring the thinking that comes before the personality attributes, before the facets of ocean, for example, those that combine to create the external behaviors that lead to a specific way of being for each individual. And my research over the last few years has demonstrated that at AQ5, a person is probably incapable of being INTJ. And you'll see why if you Google the alleged definition of an INTJ. But at AQ7, they are capable of INTJ. Finally, we get to the pièce de résistance of the principles of constructive development theory in relation to the MBTI. What I say in my book and in my research is that at the higher levels of the awareness quotient, every single combination of the MBTI is available to the individual. From a position of intention, awareness, choice and response, everything is possible. CDT lays claim to the principle that sufficient self-awareness means our personality becomes a choice. The MBTI cannot measure choice, as it never ever asks if you can choose not to. I hope you have seen the output of the awareness quotient in the intended light, in how it supersedes the MBTI, specifically in its utility, agency and efficacy. Thank you for listening and watching. If you want to know how to get the best out of your teams with a scientifically validated system, get in touch today. And remember to like and subscribe, and feel free to tell others. Take care. Thank you.